What is up, everyone? It's your girl, Fantastic Frankie, here to talk about Invincible, the mid-season finale. Very excited. I'm a huge Invincible fan. Um, Even though they've been making me wait, I think it's worth it. So, let's get into it. I'm supposed to have someone join. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if he joins. Any of them, honestly. I'm not quite sure, but either way, we're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna wait for a couple of people to get in, and then we're gonna talk Invincible because this season was incredible. It's been incredible, and even though we've been waiting, to me, this was a pinnacle part of the series, a comic book series, and to see it animate, this is like some of the best animation I've seen. Some of the scenes are way better than like what we were seeing last season, particularly with like Alan or the fight scene. I think it was on Drax, whatever that planet is called. So I'm excited. If you're joining me right now live, what's up everyone? We are talking Invincible. We are doing spoilers today. Okay, we're doing spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, beware because I don't care. I don't care. Either way, we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a good time. So let me see where my co host is. I'm going to let him know that we started and then he can join. But if not, I'll get started. Who is in here? Um, Raise that she ate her. You just started off the cuff. You're like, hey, spoiler from the end of the show. But it says spoiler review, so we're gonna go from there. I mean, I think the best part about Invincible, the thing that I love the most about it is one, there are real repercussions. And these repercussions aren't just like light, he's sad later. It's like people die. It reminds me of early Game of Thrones. But not just that, the way that you feel shocked, Zeke, is the way that a lot of people feel shocked when you're reading it, when you're watching it, and even the characters themselves, because you're going to see that they're going to be like, traumatized from these events. They're going to be considering them every time they make a move, every time they decide to do something. And I think that's what really makes Invincible something special is the fact that like everyone who interacts, every bad thing that happens actually means something and will affect Mark either for the good or, for the worst. And I think that's very rare that we can see these repercussions on this level. Um but yeah, my co-host isn't here, so we're gonna start off, okay? I thought she was gonna burst out that throat too. I'm not gonna hold you. I was like, oh, but and the thing is, I read the comic books. That fight was a little bit different. And I'm not gonna go into the comics that much. We're not gonna go into the comic book spoilers. But maybe because there's been changes and I felt hopeful, I still was like, there were still things that surprised me. There were things that I guess I don't want to anticipate because at any time something can deviate like severely from the comics. And I'm like, well, if we're going to do that, what's next? Also, what's up? I see everybody in here. Living on Wheels is here on Twitch. We're on live on Twitch and YouTube. It's 8 people strong. We're having a blast. We're talking Invincible. Well, look who it is. It's my co-host. Should I let him in, y'all? Y'all let me know. I can't hear him either. He's talking shit, but I'm wondering like, should I let him in? Should I not? If I don't get a yes in the next 20 seconds, it's curtains for him. Mm. I don't know if they fuck with you, Hugo. I don't know. I don't know. They're quiet. They talking about Invincible. They said, "Oh, you got a yes. Okay, you got 2 yeses. You almost didn't make it. You
Let
almost
me ask you
didn't
something.
make it."
Let me ask you something. If you had not gotten a yes, you would not have let me in.
Yeah, like why not? Why
Oh
would I let you in? Why would I let you why would I
no,
let you in? If the people said no, if the people say no, then we gotta listen to the people.
so that's how you feel. So I just want to know that's how you feel. That's how you feel. That's how you
Listen,
feel.
I'm gonna go ahead and give some shout outs to the yeses. These are your allies. I need you to recognize them, understand. You have people here,
Uh,
man. What's up?
Thank you.
Introduce
Thank you, Zeke
yourself.
Morningstar. You know what I mean? Guys, appreciate it. She was about to hang me out to dry like a fish. And you know what I'm saying? Thank you all for, fighting for me. I'm
Believing
not
in
gonna
you
forget
too.
this. I'm not gonna forget this snaky ass behavior because niggas was not trying to let me people was not trying to let me in. You feel me? But
Yeah, right. You trying to get me demonetized already. Three Edwards. Three. This is YouTube. It's owned by an American
I heard
company.
Mike told me that I can't straight up can't use. Is that true? Like I straight up cannot use language of that caliber.
So you can curse. It just can't be. It has to be sparingly, allegedly. But the N word, because it's an algorithm, it's hard for them to interpret. Like, is this hate speech? Are y'all chilling?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
But we can curse. So
Damn. Okay, so
okay.
that makes perfect sense.
Dang, Canary House said, "I'm on the fence."
Withholding my vote until
Yeah,
further review.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
Canary.
yeah,
Let me.
yeah, yeah.
I hope I can make you proud, Canary.
Well,
I really hope so.
Well, let's start with an introduction. Let everyone know who you are. What do you love about Invincible? Have you read the comic books? All that.
Oh,
Yo,
absolutely. Thank you for giving me the floor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Destructo. Like it goes. My name is Destructo Jugo. I've been on the game. I've been on this, content creation game for a couple decades now, and I've been, working my way up. I do film analysis, TV show analysis. Follow me on YouTube, Destructo Jugo, SoundCloud, Destructo Jugo, TikTok, Destructo Jugo, Instagram. I've been reading the. I actually really read the Invincible comics starting when I was like 10 years old. That was like one of the first comic books I ever read. So, it's definitely deep in my heart. This shit is more than just fiction to me. This is the shit I grew up on. So I'm a bit of an Invincible expert, and I'm just excited to be here, to explain a little bit about my background and where I come from. So thank you very much, Frankie.
you're welcome. We got a crazy episode. It was long in the best way and packed with information. As I mentioned before, we're not gonna do comic book spoilers, but I think it's okay to do comic book comparisons if that's okay with you guys. Because this has felt like to me Robert's redemption story. Like everywhere he goes, it let me put that up there. Every chance that he gets, Robert is like correcting the wrongs that he did, 20 years ago when he originally wrote it. He's making sure that all the critiques were heard and addressed, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think what was really cool about a lot of the changes from the original comic books to this adaptation is that he sort of wrote the Invincible from the lens of like the world as it looked like in 2007. And I think there's a lot of weird political sort of ideas and just weird cultural norms at that time that snuck its way into. That's nice. That's what's up. There's a lot of weird
Yeah, Mike
cultural
gave it
norms.
to me. I'm trying to put it in here. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get him in it. I'm trying to get her in here. Right. But I'm listening. I'm
Just hold
listening,
her.
y'all.
Okay,
Just put
I'm
her
just
in.
there was a lot of weird cultural norms that sort of snuck their way into his work at the time that I honestly don't even think he like intentionally thought about until the opportunity came to make an adaptation in which he was like, okay, so some of the ideas I brought up here might not work so well anymore. So I thought it was really cool that, not just like the characters that he's fleshing out or whatever the case may be, but just the sort of environment and sort of cultural conversations that the characters are having with each other. Like they reference Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I'm like, this shit was not in the comics, gang. Like
Yeah, well, because
he's
she
locked
wasn't
in.
because she wasn't here. You know what I mean? So and
Yeah,
I think even though a lot of the things were reductive and we were like, Robert, this is not right. You need to fix this. I think for 2003, which is the age of Cameron and like pause and shit like that, like this was revolutionary. And I'm not saying it's right, but
Yeah.
I am saying that he did try his best. The end, he understood what would get him like what would actually get him funded and what would get him views. Like down to like Mark was not Asian in the comics. Mark
Yeah.
or
No, he
Debbie.
was not.
And
Yeah,
I
they
think
were
a
both.
lot
They were
of
all white.
yeah, I pictured her like Demi Moore
Mhm.
when I saw her. But I think she's having like the reverse Aunt Viv situation where like they made her colored so they gave her more depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Reverse envy. Explain that. Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
like
Go into that.
when when Aunt Viv became light skinned, she lost a lot of her grit. She lost a lot of her voice and started to become, and
Mhm.
the same thing happened to Claire on My Wife and Kids, where a character went from someone who was dark skinned
Mhm.
to like light skin, all of a sudden became ditzy and like had no autonomy and like wasn't assertive. um and in this case, I think it's the opposite. We and in the same way for Amber, right, where we're changing them into people of color, and so we're saying, hey, people of color are not going to do this, they're not going to do that, and so we're adding color to the story. And I think
Yeah.
Debbie and Donald is some of the biggest people that we see here. Also, Black Gay Comic Geek, since you are here, I did send you a link if you want to join us. um Debbie was an Asian. She looked kind of she looked like it to me in the books. Let me pull a picture up of Debbie. She definitely
That's
was
a
not
white woman.
Asian. She was a white
That's a
woman.
white woman.
Her eyes are, she looks like it for sure. And I think too, Mike, you saw this. Oh, I got it. Mike, you saw this after you watched the show. So you had in your mind that that was Sandra Oh already. And so that kind of changed things, but she definitely a white woman. Her and Mark are white people.
Yeah. No, that is a
They're drawn
cautious
very
woman.
different. Yeah, absolutely. Cautious. I don't know why, but that feels offensive and I'm not even white. A
Bro,
cautious
just let
woman
it
sounds
slide.
kind of wild. It sounds very wild. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Mark and Deb in the
Hold on.
comments.
I have the book.
You gonna put it up to the
One
camera? Is it
second.
gonna look good?
Wait,
We in
hold
the
on. Hold on.
future.
Hold on. Let me grab my motherfucking book.
Dang. Every picture of Mark and Deb. Okay, I found one. I found one. Uh, let me bring it here. I'm gonna bring it over here for y'all. And let me go
Let's
here and
see
show
here.
y'all.
Invincible Ultimate
It's too
Collection,
late.
Volume
It's
1.
too late.
What you mean? I went over there to grab this shit and you told me
I
it's too
told
late?
you not
No.
to. I told you not to.
No, wait,
I
no,
told you
sir.
not
No, I'm
to.
spinning.
It's
I'm
too late,
spinning. I need.
y'all.
Oh, shit. All right. That's fair.
Yeah. If you look here, look at their eyes. She got some high
Yeah.
cheekbones.
No, that's a white woman. All
This
things
is
considered, like all
they're definitely they're
really each
definitely
other.
white, and that's fine. But yeah, let's get into this episode breakdown because we have a lot to cover.
White
This
woman.
starts immediately after he says she looks Asian to him, so that's on that.
Reasonable.
I don't
That's
know. I
you.
think she
Big
just
on
has
me.
black. I think she just has black hair. To me,
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is.
I think she just has black hair. But yeah, let's get started on this episode, y'all. Starting off with the intro, which starts like immediately after the events of the mid-season finale. And I don't know about you, I hate Nolan. And I feel like some people are sympathetic to Nolan, but like one to me,
Yeah.
Nolan is a Nazi. And just like the Nuremberg
Yeah.
trials, I will not forgive him because he was
Yeah.
indoctrinated. Like he still was an adult. He had an opportunity. Not only did he have an opportunity to change or like see what Cecil was
Mhm.
doing and then try to convert him, but then he left that planet and did the same thing to another planet. The same exact,
Yeah.
like, he said, "You know what? Imma go to another planet and Imma do my own thing. Imma try to be a hero." And I think the thing I don't like about Nolan is he's a narcissist who needs to be loved. and he doesn't
Mhm.
care, and that's something that Debbie mentions. He doesn't care who gets hurt in the midst of that.
Right.
And you know, we're starting to see the consequences of his actions.
Mhm. I gotta, so hate is a crazy strong word for in regards to my relationship with Nolan.
Whoa, whoa,
As
whoa,
with
whoa.
the benefit
We're
of having.
talking about up until this story. I never forgive him,
Okay,
but up until this story, you're
okay,
saying hate is a big word.
okay. Up until this story, okay, you got me there. Hate is the probably the most accurate term to describe how most
Eh,
people feel
If
about Nolan.
if you're into genocidal Nazis, that's up to you. If that's your thing,
See, see, you
if
ain't even
that's your
have to go there.
thing.
Talking about that's just me though. I don't fuck with him, but that's you.
Yeah,
It's not that I'm saying
no.
I rock with him. I ain't even gonna act like I rock with him or nothing of the sort. However, and I made a video about this that got like 0 views, which was upsetting. But the whole point, at least to me, my interpretation of like that whole him going to the bug planet in the first place and seeing how these fucking like these like weird gross little bugs live like for 1 year max was like sort of like indicating to the audience that we as human beings also harbor similar ideas of superiority and like um and fascistic ideas towards other living beings, including like if you see a bug you're gonna step on that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
you as a human being, you're more powerful than a bug, you're smarter than a bug, you live longer than a bug. A grasshopper ends into your crib, you're gonna step on it. And so I always thought of it, should like showing the bug people and showing that as a way for us to be like, look, nigga,
you
you're not as holy as you think you are. You know what I mean?
I feel that, right? But me personally, I wouldn't go to a bug colony and destroy that colony. Now I know there are humans who do, right?
Right.
Who go to
For
like
sure, Ski.
they destroy like bee ant colonies and stuff like that. But me personally, if they not fucking up my ecosystem, I'm not messing with them, right? I'm not imposing my will on bugs. And for the most part, we don't do that, right?
That's true.
We don't say, yo,
That's true.
these bugs are weak, they need to live this way. We're gonna kill them and procreate with them. I think that's that, you know, we're not doing eugenics with these bugs. We're like, okay,
Wait,
these
he's
are
getting super.
species. You feel me? Like I think that's the one thing. I do agree that it helped me conceptualize time, especially with him saying like, "Oh, what's another 17 years?" and him calling Debbie a pet. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine him having a relationship with this woman who one he
Mm.
met as a child. But
Yeah.
like him having a relationship with this woman and it being so fast to me, I'm like, what is time to him? You know?
Right. That juxtaposition between him and this bug is honestly so fucking funny to me. Like, that shit is so hilarious because he was already mad that Debbie could only live 100 years max, and then he found a girl that could live like 1 year max, like immediately afterwards. And then it was just like totally cool with it and totally locked in. And you're right, he definitely his love for her, and he kind of makes this clear in the TV series, which is why I'm like, I think that where they're going with his redemption arc is that like they're gonna make it a lot slower and a lot more complex than it was in the book, because he kind of makes it clear that you notice that like he mostly came to the planet out of the need, like to stayed on the planet out of the need to be worshipped, and he found a species that was worshiping him, and that's why he stayed. And that's so he's kind of turning back and kind of turning into a good person, but still he's only with that girl, he's only on that planet, he's only the savior of that planet for the exact same reason he was a savior of planet Earth. It's just this time he's not even like trying to hide it, and this time
Yeah.
he's sort of trying to be more nice about it. Like villains like, I have nothing, he didn't do me nothing, don't call my didn't call my mama nah, that nigga
He
stupid.
say he's fine with Nolan. And I think because I agree. I think it's obvious, it's clear that he's going down a redemption arc, especially once he told Mark to like get the books. Um
Yeah.
and I agree. I feel like I just feel like I could never forgive him. And for me, it was that train scene. In the comic
Yeah.
books, the train scene was like he knocked him into the train and the collateral damage were people dying. This time he purposely killed people with this man's face. Like
Yeah,
it
that
was
was I
vicious.
I can't possibly imagine why what they had in mind for his redemption arc with making that crazy of a change. Like that whole bro, that whole episode where he turns like where he reveals his true colors is so much worse in the show than it was in the comics. In the comics, it's like a 5 minute thing. He goes to tell Mark, "Hey, I'm a bad guy." Mark fights him, and they, some people get killed in the process. In the show, it's the entire episode. He kills Donald. He kills a
Yeah.
bunch of like Cecil's men. He kills Immortal again, and then he uses my boy's face to smash into a
To
train.
he kills he kills a lot. He kills a lot of people. But I think also in the comics, it was way more jarring than
Mm,
it was here. You get what I'm saying? Like in the
yeah,
comics, I was surprised. Like I saw the Guardians of the Galaxy, but I was like, maybe they were evil, maybe they didn't know. You know what I mean?
right, right,
But
right,
I
right,
think,
right.
and even then, it didn't happen immediately like it did in this, where it was like episode one. From the first episode, we knew that Nolan was sus. And so him
Yeah,
committing that act was like confirmation on how sus he was. Versus like I felt like in the
yeah,
comics, I was like, whoa, he what?
yeah,
And then he was gone.
yeah. It's
And
random.
so when and
Yeah,
I kind of missed him. And I think it was also because Debbie missed him. And so now that
yeah.
Debbie's like, fuck him, I'm like, also, fuck him. You
No,
know
but
what I
shout out
mean?
Debbie though. But shout
Shout
out
out.
Debbie for being like a real character because that's the biggest gripe everybody had with the original comic book was that Debbie was not a real person. She was a she was one dimensional as hell. She only exists in order to like do something for either Mark or Omni Man. Like the only time you'd see her is when she's like he'd bring the baby back home to her and she just was like, yeah, I'll take it. And then like you know what I mean? I can't spoil anything further than that, but Debbie was not a real character in the
It
in the
doesn't.
comic books, but
It doesn't.
in
It
the show,
doesn't. And even
different
before
person.
then, right? Like they gave her the arc of like discovering that Omni Man was bad and kind of like bringing that
Bro, I love
information to
that.
Cecil. Like even
I
now, a lot of the
love that.
dialogue was dialogue that I had in my head, and even dialogue that people had concerning the book and Nolan as a character. And we see that, right? Where she's like processing. But what I really liked is like she had some trouble with alcohol. Y'all, Debbie was a hot mess in the comic books. Like she was a
Oh yeah,
alcoholic. Like she couldn't get out of bed. She looked crazy. And then
she
this,
was down
she drank for a
bad.
little bit, but not more than like I drank during COVID or something. Like it was like her legitimately processing her
Not
feelings.
you snitching on yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Yo, everybody
Not you
drank.
telling
Everybody was drinking wine every day at COVID. What you mean?
her.
You know what I'm saying? And so I thought they were going to start to go into that alcoholism after her like attempted suicide in the finale, when she
That
was
was
talking
interesting.
to her coworker and he gave her that bottle of wine. I thought they were hinting at that like it was about to happen. And then,
Mhm.
here comes Mark with this purple ass
The
baby.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so the changes they're making to and I guess I don't know, I think what they're trying to do is because being like turning to alcoholism is obviously super realistic in response to like extreme times of grief. I appreciate him making me sound no and be remorseful. He was about to unwind
Oh,
himself.
keep on. I
I
put
like
that on as a sub. You don't have to read them. I put them on the
oh my fault.
supplement, which
I have ADHD.
you be
But
like, no,
you
no, no,
put
no, no.
something on.
I'm sorry. But so does everybody else. I gotta add stuff on here. I gotta keep it spicy. You know what I'm saying? We
No,
15
that's
people
smart. That's
strong.
smart. Oh, 15? Hey, what's up, 15 people? Anyways, as I
Yeah.
was saying, fucking damn it, what was I saying? See, you don't make me lose my train of thought, and I hate when that happens.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We were talking about
But
Debbie.
yeah, it's realistic. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
realistic about how even though it is realistic, turning to alcohol as a response to like sincere grief, I can't help but feel like a lot of the reason that was changed was to sort of rewrite her character into because the way her character was in the comic books in response to everything that happened was she was a background character who was an alcoholic and then like That was it. And so in order to sort of like move away from that, they're rewriting her grief and making it a lot more complex than just like turn to alcoholism. Is There's a little bit of like there's many more layers to it than just like she's a super depressed mother, because there's still this repressed love that she has for him. There's still the feeling of betrayal. There's still the need to be there for her son. There's still the need to sort of continue on with her life. And all these things like sort of connecting together to where her journey through the grief of Nolan doing everything that he did is just a lot more complex and less one dimensional than just, oh, she turned to alcohol. So I feel like it'll manifest itself in a lot more different ways. Like she was low-key arguing with her son a little bit. She was like, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, what did she say? Like, you
Oh, you
can't bring
mean
this
when he
baby
came
here.
with this baby and he said,
Yeah.
she's purple. She said, "Yo, send that to the adoption agent." But that's what I'm saying. Like when Mark came with Oliver, do they name him? I know it's on the screen. Like they. I don't know if he has his name yet. Whatever. His name's Oliver, y'all, and that's not really a spoiler. If you hover over the screen, they say Oliver is on
Yeah.
screen. Um, but when he comes with Oliver, he's like, "Hey, mom, this sucks, but
Yeah.
I couldn't leave him." And then he kind of gives it to her and she's like, "Wow, someone I can take care of. I'm all better." And it was kind of like that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably doesn't have a name. Oh, Black Gay Comic, he is flexing that he saw the second episode. But yes, he picks his own name and it's Oliver. Um,
Oh, does he?
but I thought he picked his own name. That was the whole thing, right? It was
No, I remember in the comics there being like, oh, when they get of age, they pick their own names, but he won't get of age quickly enough, so she just chose the name for him. But I could
that
be
don't make
wrong.
sense. He's of age in like 2 weeks,
Mm,
right?
I think so. I mean, I'm not
She
sure
would
because
have
I
named
swear.
him already. You don't need to name
Because
a
where did
baby
he
like
get the
that.
name Oliver? Like, let's keep it a bean. Where is he getting Oliver from?
He's watching TV. He's consuming
Oh yeah,
media.
there's a character
Oh,
named Oliver
Oliver
on
was
the
her
TV
father
show.
name. Okay, okay. Here we go.
See, she named him after Oliver, right? She named
Okay.
him.
She said, "Fuck his morals." And I
Yeah,
can't wait. I can't wait to get into the Oliver is just such a good juxtaposition to Mark, who had this idealistic view of what being a hero was, and like a view that
yeah,
not even his father believed. Right? It was one he was feeding him that to like uphold this lie that he had. And Oliver
yeah,
already knows that it's a lie. So the way that he
yeah,
interacts with the world, with being a superhero, with other people,
yeah,
down to what
yeah.
his fetish is. I can't wait for y'all to see what his fetish is. It's kind of
Oh
weird.
man, this boy
But
is
it
so
makes
funny,
sense.
dog.
This boy nasty, y'all. This boy gonna be nasty. I'm gonna tell y'all. But back to the decision. I think Mark deciding to take Oliver with him also makes sense because leaving Oliver on a planet where he, I mean, he's going to become a god in a way that, like,
Right.
beyond Nolan, right? Where he's outliving a millennia, to the
Yeah.
people who live for like half a
Yeah.
year. Like, I couldn't imagine what that would do to his psyche. So I definitely
Right.
think that was something he could take. He could have brung to Alan and them. I mean, Alan was hurt, but he met the coalition, didn't he? Did they figure
No,
out what he
obviously
needs
not,
eventually?
because the end of the episode, they was still like, you need to bring Invincible has. Wait, has he? No, Invincible hasn't met the coalition yet, so they
He
couldn't have
just met
even. They
Alan,
couldn't have.
right? Oh, so he can bring it to him.
Yeah.
But either way,
Yeah.
I loved so he brings him back, and I do agree, like Mark is like, either even if he wasn't in school, he's like, me watching this child doesn't make sense if I'm a superhero. Like, you are the only one. And like, it's not Oliver's fault that he's alone. It's Nolan's decision
Right.
to have sex with a woman that's only going to live 6 months and procreate with a baby that he knows at minimum is going to live 500 years. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he doesn't he just does he's a hedonist. He does what he loves. So I love that they have that conversation and she's basically like, Nolan gets to do whatever he wants and we all clean up after him. And Mark is
Mhm.
like, yeah, so what are we going to do with this baby? He's purple. He
Yeah.
can't go to school, like,
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I
yeah.
love that Mark in this conversation is being sort of practical about what the next step is, because it really shows that I guess Mark and his mother, Mark and Debbie, are at two different points within their grieving period, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Mark met the dad, and had sort of a little bit of the emotional catharsis of confronting him after everything that happened. So he's definitely a step, or like at least 5 steps ahead of her in sort of the grieving process. So that conversation is a really good indication of that, because he's here, he's sort of like all those, that anger and that resentment and the other, it's somewhat sort of washed away from meeting him on that planet. And he's just, at this point, he's just like, okay, what now? But the mother, he's gone, her son is gone for 2 months, he comes back with someone else's baby. It's like, what the fuck I'm supposed to do now? And I,
Right,
so
and
so she's
it's
like,
like you just heal, and then you find out he moved on and had a baby. There's also that
yeah, like
added on to it.
that shit would piss me off. And the fact that she never got the chance, so far, never got the chance to confront him. And she never, like, it's wild to me that, like, she never really got the chance after all this stuff happened, so far in the series, to really just say, like, dude, what the fuck? Like, really confront him on that. And Mark did. And so she's looking at her son like, damn, you feel you was out there doing your thing, you come back with a baby, you ha, you was laughing it up with your daddy. You know what I'm saying? It's like when
She's like, "Yeah, I
it's
sold
like
his shit.
divorced parents. It's like
Yeah, I
divorced
sold it. You
parents
got a
when
problem?"
you go to your mom's house for the weekend and shit. You just came back from dad's crib, and you he said, Dad took us to the arcade. Yo, Daddy took you to the arcade. Man, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was mad, and I think that was really interesting, a way of displaying that.
Also, I wanna say that, like, I don't think she realized when he came home with a purple baby, I think she thinking he was with, like, a humanoid alien. You know what I mean?
Oh, she don't
Like,
know.
she don't
She
know.
don't
This
know.
is what she like. I don't know if she'll ever find out, but if I found out that this was the beans he was getting, like, in my
That's
head,
the
it
competition.
was like Gamora. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what he's
Yeah, right.
like a nebula, maybe, not a
I'm gonna keep it
fly.
$1 million. I'm gonna keep it $1 million with you, though, because I can see the you. Can you zoom in real quick? If you can't zoom in, that's cool. But I can
I'm
see
gonna
the
take it off completely because I don't like where this is going.
no, I can see the vision, bro. Like, hear me out, dog. No, wait, did you see her lips? Go back and look at her lips. That's a black woman. That's a black queen right there. That's a black queen right there. Go back and look at her lips.
Can I
Because I
zoom
can
in
see what
here?
he thought about it. You feel me? I see what he was thinking. I see the vision. I see the plans. Yeah, that's, you know, I'm not even mad at it. That is that's a queen.
That's
You
the
feel me?
queen.
I'm not used the nice lips. Look at her
So
mandibles, gang.
you
Like, you
hitting
feel me?
this? You hitting this? This I'm gonna David agreed. Look, my
Destructo what? No, but
agreed.
hear me out.
Look. My thing just
But
stopped
hear me
moving. It
out.
was like, please get this
But hear me
blasphemy
out though.
out of here.
You got to think with your third eye. You feel me? Um,
Nolan barely got the
those are
two.
nice lips.
Whatever. All right, let's get into some fun stuff. Black Gay Comic Geek asked if we'd rather be a Viltrumite or Kryptonian. Now,
You go first.
first of all, I need y'all to know what you started,
Her
her
man.
mandibles. Not Ate being into
No,
bug boy.
no, no,
I only
no.
got two.
That is
I'm
not a
glad you
bug.
deserve this. You deserve this roast. You deserve this roast right here.
No, no, no. You niggas are y'all are not listening to what I'm trying to tell you.
I
You're not
your
thinking with
third
your
eye,
head. You
your third eye. He's talking about the head between your legs. He talking about your head between your
no,
legs.
I'm talking about you, Nick. Come on now. I'm not gonna keep arguing for my position. All I'm gonna say is, Nolan obviously thought it was good enough, so he was onto something. Would I rather be Viltrumite or Kryptonian? Here's the thing: Kryptonians or Viltrumites are much stronger than they are invulnerable. It's so weird because like their strength outmatches their invulnerability by like double, so they can like punch holes through each other like it's nothing. I
Mhm.
couldn't do that. I'm sorry. I'd much rather be a Kryptonian because at least like it's on the same level. They're pretty much as strong as they are invulnerable. So when they have fights, it's not like cutting each other's heads off with one swipe.
Right, copy. Yes, I agree. Like, and also like the Kryptonian, like for the most part, are pretty peaceful scientists. But you wouldn't really
Yeah,
have those powers unless you're. Are you a Kryptonian on Earth or are you on Krypton?
that's true. That's
But
true.
I
But
do agree that, and we're gonna meet more Viltrumites and see their lifestyle. I think it's cooler. I think they're stronger. I think it's more cutthroat to be a Viltrumite, but I think in terms of like quality of life, a Viltrumite is not
yeah,
cool. Like I wouldn't want to be it.
yeah,
And back on the ants, how would I feel if my ex leveled up to an ant after me? I feel like the word leveled up is it that
it's
phrase is
crazy.
improperly used here because it wouldn't be a
It
level
is
up. That's I don't know, 4 hands. Does she have 4 hands? 4 hands is kind of crazy. Let me see. She got
you
2
are you
hands.
thinking what four hands could do? Ah, damn.
She got 2 hands, so nah, no way that's a level up. And honestly, I think it would give me solace. Like he's like, there's nothing else I could do. I may as well do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, it's like I can't go up. So let's see. Let me explore in the basement. Okay.
Nah, 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 nah. You're nah, because ain't it. You feel me? There's nothing really wrong with leveling up to, and it's not an ant. You feel me? It's not an ant. That's a different species. Ants belong on Earth. We talking about with the flaxons. You know what I'm saying? They're
Flaxons.
thinking, breathing,
They're
intelligent
flies.
creatures that sort of they are not fly. You feel me? They're intelligent or two about a thing or two. I'm just saying, there's a reason Nolan has a kid. You feel me? It's a reason Nolan got a kid. You feel me? They got something that we don't know about. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
He gross.
So
That's why. That's the reason.
find out.
He nasty.
Me personally, I like to. Nah, nah, he not nasty. He not nasty. He knew what he was doing.
So
That's an intelligent
let's
man.
move on to Mark's return, and his social life and what that's it. And it's funny. I remember last season. I fought with people a lot about Amber, and just
Mhm,
like the vitriol she was receiving, which I felt like a lot of it was because she was now black, and so everything was received as ghetto. Like I saw a lot of people call her ghetto or loud or
mhm,
abrasive, and I didn't interpret that from her. I thought she was just like steadfast
mhm.
and didn't take any shit. But it's very interesting because now that she knows the truth, right? That was her whole gripe the entire time.
Yeah,
And so now
yeah.
that she knows what's happening, she now has to accept being a man. Like her
Mhm.
friends didn't think Mark existed. And now she has to
Right.
decide, like, can she continue this quality of life, knowing that like every time he leaves he may never return, or he may not return for a long time. And that's something
Yeah.
that, oh, and we're not doing comic book spoilers, but yes, you have the
No, I
floor.
think that's really I like the way they're going with it. I like that it started off as her being like, "Oh, all you had to do was just be honest with me and I would have been, you know, like down for the cause." And now, when the honesty has come in, it's sort of like she's reconsidering because it's so real, dude. It really is such a really interesting like play on the real life phenomenon of when you get in a relationship, how much we are willing to lie to ourselves for the sake of the people that we love and for the sake of people that we want to be with. Like how I can't imagine, I can't like even think about how many times, someone has been in a relationship to where they're like, oh, I can handle it. And they have, the person in the relationship has this aspect of their personality that deep down you're not fully comfortable with, but you sort of tell yourself lies. I can deal with it. I can handle it. And sort of those lies always inevitably always fall apart. And so that's the beginning of that journey where it's like she's gonna see that she probably, what I'm saying, she didn't really mean it when she said she was down for the cause, because now she's starting to really understand what being down actually means. And it's not hitting.
Do you think that she didn't mean it or she didn't know to the extent, right? Like he missed her father's death. Those are things you don't foresee, like be having to,
Yeah.
having to process that without your partner, and starting
Yeah, that's
college with
true.
that. Like I think she was like, I'll be down for the cause. Like he was going missing like at night. He was missing dates.
Yeah,
Like there was
yeah,
times he was missing for a couple weeks, but this time it was 2 months, and her life has drastically changed in those 2 months
right.
without him. And now to have someone that you consider close to you, that you're intimate with, and having to explain to them your life
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
bizarre.
No,
It's odd.
I don't think it was necessarily that she lied to herself, but I really I do stand firm on the idea that I don't think she took time to really engage, really chew on the idea of what being down with being with a superhero means. I think that there were sort of questions that she may have been hiding from, or that she may have been too scared to fully face, because the reality of it is like this dude could die at any moment. You have to be prepared for that. Like that was always the case even before they started their relationship back up again. Even when he was lying to her about being a superhero and she knew that he was a superhero, she knew that he was gone for X amount of weeks. And, she saw on TV that Invincible was fighting this invasion and this, that, or whatever the case may be. And so, I can't even lie. She probably just sort of kept it deep down and refused to acknowledge the idea that the being down means being down. You feel me? I I wouldn't be surprised if she left him for a human. You feel me? But hey, that's a
This is a spoiler-free space.
I ain't say
What
a
do you
word. I'm just saying, yeah, me neither.
what do you think about Mark's, like, benevolence or towards college? Do you think he should stay? You think he should leave? Like, to me, I
I'm gonna
don't
keep
even
it a
know why
buck
he
with you.
signed in for college. That's stupid.
What the fuck is college? Like, what is college to a superhero? Like, let's keep it $1 million. Like, I don't. What are you doing that for, gang? That's not who you are. You are going to live, and just think of it in the sense of practicality. You are going to live thousands of years. What even is the point of a college degree when all the purposes of college degree, having finding a job that you can live off of, or just like having a career path, are that are
Oh, that
redundant?
is capitalism talking through you. You get to talk to experts in fields and gain knowledge. Like, I do think that if I lived thousands of years, I'd have multiple degrees. I'd learn French. I get a degree in French. I get a degree. Like, I think there's definitely
Yeah, I
knowledge
mean
you could
that's
take.
fair.
You know what I mean? And he's
That's
rich.
fair, but that's not why that's not
That's
why
not why
he's going to
he's
college
doing.
because he feels like he's supposed to. You know what I
And
mean?
he's
And I'm
already
telling you,
rich,
he doesn't
which
have
is
to.
odd to me too, because like after Nolan's
Right.
death, they kind of set him up. And so I'm like, if and he's getting paid, right? But is he getting paid?
Yeah, he's getting no, it's Cecil said that like the family is taking care, or he's taking care of
He
the
he
family
took
like
care,
through the book
but like
sales.
yeah, either way, Cecil is making sure that they're paid to the point where he's rubbing it in their face, right? Um and I think, ooh, tell me I got some B-roll of Cecil because that man is treacherous. He's my favorite and least favorite person.
I love Cecil. I can't hate him. I'm sorry.
You can't hate.
I
I
can't hate
can't
him.
hate him either. And y'all, he definitely gets way more complex. Maybe is the word. Um,
Yeah.
but we definitely, even now when he has that conversation with Donald, and Donald's like, "You turned me into a cyborg. That's wild." And he's like, "Bro, you not seen the picture. I kept you alive. I gave you a better body. Like,
Yeah.
lock in. Like, what was
He's
you doing
real.
that fat body anyway? Like, now you can do
He's
whatever
real
you
though.
want." Huh?
Cecil's real. Cecil's real. That's why I be trying to y'all mad because he real. Because he, what I'm saying, he locked in for it. Like I don't know what to tell you. Y'all mad at a real guy.
Even the precautions that he's taking, right? Like, Mark was like, "You invaded our privacy. You're still spying on us." He wouldn't be doing his due diligence. Why would he leave you alone? Your father tried to destroy the
Yeah, right.
planet. Like, I
Right.
I know you were good, but God knows, like, how do I know that's not program? How do I know when you were gone for 2 months that you
You
didn't,
didn't
which
go
he
back to
did, you didn't link with him and he
yeah.
didn't convince you, like, you came back with a purple baby. I don't know what you
Yeah.
got, like, and, like, if you decide that your father was right, we're cooked. I need to make sure that we are not cooked. And I love that
Mhm.
Cecil, like, he definitely pulls in Mark um as much as he can, but he's quick to let Mark know, you are not the prettiest pony out here. I got other hoes in the
Right.
back. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like at any time you can get dropped.
Yeah, I think what I love about Cecil the most is that as a character, he's so steadfast and firm in his loyalties, and his loyalty is simply just to like the people of Earth. And I know that sounds like a an excuse to like excuse a lot of his actions. But this man is not loyal to these heroes. He's not loyal to any other species. This man will kill you and your family if you're like if it means protecting Earth. And I can't even be mad at that because as I think about all the things that he's done both in the comics and in the TV series, all the breaches of privacy and all the grimy things he's done. I think, well, has he ever hurt an actual like innocent civilian? Like, has he ever like done anything to put people in genuine harm's way? Nah,
Ye
not really.
yes, yes, if they were collateral damage, like, he has no problem putting people in harm's way if it's for the greater good. So, like, if a city or a town is
I
like,
guess
"Damn, 200 people are gonna die," he'd be like, "Yes, but that's better than 8 billion." That's the way Cecil
that's
moves,
true.
right?
He would make that move. He would make that move for sure. But he even with the battle with Nolan, he's a white Amanda Waller. Facts. Even with the battle against Nolan, he tried to get Nolan into as barren a wasteland as possible, like in order to like drop that orbital strike on him because he knew he wasn't trying to get anybody else hurt. And he genuinely, and what I love about him is that like unlike Amanda Waller or other like governmental characters, he be feeling bad as hell. Like he actually genuinely feels bad when people get hurt. That should
And
be
when
hurting.
people be talking shit to him, he be eating it. He be like, "Damn, you right? Yeah, I ain't shit." Like the whole time, he be like, I know I have to." Like I feel like he's the parent who tells you you have to go on timeout because you acted up, and he's like, I love
Yeah.
ice cream tonight too, but it's gonna fucking I
I
know
gotta do it. I gotta do
flossing sucks, yeah, but you want your teeth right.
it.
Like I
Bro,
feel like
he
he
be
he
eating
comes with
them every time. I'm talking about,
like
and it's points where it's like they just be straight disrespecting him. I'm like, not too much on my man, CB. I know. I'm sorry.
yo,
I be what?
even right here, look how stressed the man. He's like, all right. This is the scene where in The
Yeah.
Martian, and he has this line that I really love where the Martian is like, there he's giving out all this stuff. And oh well, he's admitting to all his wrongdoings, and Cecil's like
Mm.
processing it, and he goes, all right, so right now, if we don't stop this, this entire plane is gonna blow up. All right, well, this not over.
Yeah, he just
This not over. But there will, I think he says exactly, there will be
there will be
consequences.
consequences.
Like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, wait till we get home. That's what he says. Wait till we
Yeah.
get
Nah, straight up. Like he's a prioritizing guy. And the thing is, this dude is always tired. I never seen him not rub his eyes, like grab his forehead. Like I never seen him. The bro is always stressed. And so I understand the position he's in and why he has to do what he does. And even though, and I'm saying like it makes me feel better knowing that even at least he knows he's grimy at the very
right.
least.
And you know what? He's not even I've never even seen him in plain clothes. Like I never seen man's in a t-shirt, in his pajamas.
You think he got off days? You think he
That's
got
what I'm
vacation
saying.
time?
And they be
You know
talking
what
to
I
him
mean?
like he do, like you living it up. Like, no, sir. Like when you don't see me here,
No.
and just the burden of like knowing that the decisions that you make, like I worked at a marketing firm and like the Pantone color would keep me up that night. Like, what if I pick up this wrong color and people don't fuck with it? Like, this is thousands of dollars
Mm,
that we're losing, whatever. And that would keep me up. Imagine if I'm like, if I make the wrong decision, this planet will be destroyed.
yeah.
Like just the
Thousands are gonna
emotional
die.
weight of that. And
Yeah.
he's at the head. I don't see him reporting to people.
No, hell no. I don't even think the president knows he exists. I think he might be, and that's what's cool. I think Cecil is, I think, like confirmed to be the most powerful person in the country. Like just him.
In the world.
Like he probably in the world. Yeah, like Cecil is confirmed to be the most powerful human in the world. Like he has access to things no one else does. So that boy got weight on his shoulders, and I think it's like the weight of that, the pressure of that has to keep him on this path of like he can't stop and be sad about none. He can't let that stop him from none because people die. And I can't even be mad at him because what I'm saying, he's a superhero in his own right. He just be doing things that are a little bit, you feel
He's
me?
an
A little bit grimy.
anti-hero in his own right.
In the world of Invincible, and this is a thing, because it would be different if this was like the Cecil character was in like the Justice League or the Avengers. But in the world of Invincible, every single person in this picture has like 25 bodies at least on their head. Every not
Uh,
one person is exempt from
Dang,
death.
and Bulletproof. Yo, actually, I feel like Rex has the least amount of bodies outside of like fighting.
Yeah, yeah,
Rex
probably,
is
probably because he don't
actually
do
he
he's
just
chill.
he just blows shit up and go home. You know what I mean? Like, and so does
Yeah,
Eve. Like there are superheroes who are superheroes in the world of it. And
yeah,
that is also Invincible's entire struggle, right? Is he sees people who are doing things that are beyond morality for the greater good, and he doesn't rock with that. He sees that with
mhm,
Cecil and like uh, oof,
yeah,
I think I read something and then I almost said the name. But he sees that with other
mhm,
characters that are heroes who start to do things that are not morally right, not even gray. They're morally black, they're
mhm,
out. And he's like, this is not the type of hero I want to be. I don't think you need to be this to be a hero. And Cecil disagrees. Also,
yeah,
what's up?
yeah,
Everybody coming in. I see some what's up in here. People are just
but he
joining, which is fire. But this is an interesting theory. Keep it a buck. If he's a robot too, I wouldn't be surprised. I always picture
that
him
is a
more like
very interesting theory.
Rick from Rick and Morty, where he has like bio enhancements. But I don't think he's
Mm,
a full robot.
like, I don't think he's like a cyborg, and then I was gonna say low key that I mean, with that being said about Invincible, and this like this obviously is an event that happens later on in the comics, so I'm not really gonna spoil it, but I am gonna say that um Cecil's not the only one that makes decisions that he feels like are for the greater good that what I'm saying that end up not turning out too smoothly. And so like we all give the other people in this story that do that grace. But ain't nobody trying to get my man Cecil grace. Nobody trying to get my man's grace for making mistakes. Like there's a mistake, and this is all I'll say. There's a mistake that Invincible makes later on in the series that even Cecil is surprised that he made. Like even Cecil's like, damn, that's a crazy mistake.
He sound
So
grind.
I'm that's all I'm gonna say about it. But you feel me? He's not the worst.
He's the worst. Um, I think he's pretty up there. He's not the worst. Maybe he the second worst. Like he not good. He not good. But I will say that the TV show, he's way more nuanced in the television show to me
Way more. Yeah.
uh
Yeah, for
than he
sure.
was in a comic. But and once again, that's Robert fixing his mistakes, hearing the
Yeah.
reception of these characters and him kind of thinking like maybe that's
Yeah.
not what I intended and
Yeah.
how can I fix that? But since we're
Yeah.
talking about consciences, let's talk about Eve. Next to Debbie, so far, she is one of the characters that has had the best retcons, that's been given the most character development. Because she
Mm.
obviously was built to be a love interest for Mark in the comic books.
Yeah.
She's dirty macking the entire time he's dating Amber. It's gross.
Not dirty macking.
She's dirty macking. There's a line that I love, in which Eve says, she's flying with him, or she calls him up in the air, and he's flying up in the air
Yeah,
with
when
her.
she went to Africa and she said they don't look up.
No, I thought that was in no, that was in the city. Where are they? Chicago? They're in the
Oh,
city, and
yeah.
they're like hovering above the city, and he's like, she says it again in Africa for the Dirty Mac, but when she's talking to him, this is not in the Dirty Mac moment. He's like, "You're bugging. We're just flying around people with no mask on," and she's like, Regular people don't look up. Their lives are straight ahead of them and they don't have worldview. So why would they ever look up unless there's like a sound or something? And then yes, later he's on it. He brings his girl around her and she dirty max and she says, "See, this bitch don't look up because she can't fly."
Bro,
And
that's
so
so
yo, does she not do that? Is she not that character?
He did though, but dirty macking is a mad. No, I thought that was grimy. I read that and I thought, damn, ain't that your friend for real? I definitely thought that was
Because she's
grimy.
friends with
But
Amber too.
dirty
She's
macking is a
cordial.
crazy statement. All due respect. All due
It,
respect. I mean, she was just, you feel me? All's fair in love and war. That's really all's fair in love and war. I ain't mad at nobody for you feel me. I ain't mad at nobody for shooting a shot. She didn't
That's
even do too much. She
actually
just
what
said.
dirty Mackers say.
That's what Dirty Mac-
That is the mission statement of Dirty Mackers.
Yeah, but that's a derogatory term because essentially I mean, yeah, at that time she had
It's
very
derogatory. It's meant to be derogatory. I did not fuck with the way she was moving. I did not like
okay.
it.
Okay.
Like,
I
don't
ain't
get your
love it,
man
but
this
I ain't
way.
mad at it.
Don't get your
Yeah.
man this way because it to me it reduces this character who this is a perfect segue from Zeke that we're told she's omnipotent almost she's a god, right? She
Yeah,
can
she's very powerful.
create life, she can essentially
Yeah.
manipulate at things, and obviously it's a comic book written by a man, so there are mental constraints there so that she can't use her entire I'm
Entire
so
essence
sorry
or full power.
her uh for us
What is
older
dirty
folks. What
macking?
is dirty macking? I will let
Y'all
the
created that
youngest
term. What the
out.
hell?
I think we did.
Uh,
You gotta remember,
yeah.
Mike is 2 generations away from you, or 3.
Oh shoot.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Mike.
joking. I'm
We
joking.
well,
He's like, "You
dirty
can't."
macking for all the grandpas in the building, and Granny Frankie, is when you know what I'm saying, you macking on somebody that already got somebody. You feel me? That's really as simple as I could put it. You putting moves on, and it's not like explicit moves. Dirty macking can be a lot more subtle. You know, it's definitely
That's
like
incorrect.
you definitely
That's incorrect. Dirty macking is when you're macking on someone with someone, but you're doing it by putting down the person that they're with. That is the
she didn't
core
put it
of
down.
dirty macking.
She didn't put
She
it
said this
down.
bitch
She
can't
didn't.
fly. Like Amber, what can Amber can't help
She
that
was
she
giving
can't
him advice.
fly.
She was
She
giving him
was
advice about how she can't be with no regular bitches. That's a he. She was giving him
that's a
advice, and
dirty
that's some
Mac.
real advice.
That's a dirty Mac because the translation to like actual real life events today, right, would be like if I was a millionaire and I'm trying to talk to another guy that's a millionaire and we're getting a yacht, I'd be like, see, she can't just hop on a plane like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
true.
she not like us.
No, that's
And
true.
so,
She not
but
like
that
us.
he knew that she couldn't fly when he got with her.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
he
But
wasn't
I
even
mean,
thinking.
she
He was
ended up
carrying her. His father's with a bitch that can't fly. What does that matter to him?
not to be like get up in the spoiler territory, but was she wrong though? Is my question. Like in your heart of hearts, like, do you think she was capping about, you know what I'm
Was
saying,
she
it not making
wrong
sense?
in the comic book? No, because that Amber is a bimbo. But if this Eve was moving like that, I would be talking crazy. Because then it would also feel anti-black, right? That she was dirty back in that way. Before it was white on white crime, so I was chilling. But if she was dirty back like that on Zazie Beats, I
She
wouldn't
not
be
even.
here for it.
I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. I like, and this is gonna sound so racist. I like this Amber slightly less than
Interesting.
comic
Why?
book Amber because, and the thing is, I fully agree that Amber in the comic books had no character, and like definitely deserved needed a tune up and they needed a facelift. But this Amber gang, they set her up for failure, and I don't like that. They genuinely set her ass up for failure because what frustrates me about her character isn't necessarily anything that she did. It was how she was written in a sense that like they knew damn well what they were doing in season one when they created that dynamic between her finding out he was a superhero and like her being upset at that, but then her having known the whole time, and then like that being this whole thing of like they knew what the hell they was doing when they created that dynamic, because what it had done was it soured it for everybody. It made the conversation around Amber and Invincible less fun for all parties involved, the people that were defending and the people that were hating. And to me, I haven't been able to get over the like ugly taste that conversation left in my mouth, because it was so, and I was on the side of like she had a right to be upset, and I was on the side of like she genuinely had a right to feel mad that he didn't tell her the truth. But just every time I see this character, I can only think of like the fucking mental anguish that discourse took on me. Like it's inseparable from her character now, so I can't even enjoy her on screen because I'm like, oh, okay, when's the next big Amber argument gonna happen? Like when's the next big like you out here playing with
Yo,
the screen?
I
But you
keep
feel
on
me? Like
forgetting you have ADHD. So you like, bitch. I'm trying to keep people interested. I'm showing, I'm moving, I'm trying to highlight you, and you're like, how you a
it be
director?
like
You
no,
that
like I'm
you
like
are,
I'm it's
and
the
I'm learning.
youth. It's the youth. Yeah,
Do you
it's the
do you
constant
like this
movement.
when when we're flushed? Do you like us like this?
You gotta ask your audience, gang.
Yo,
You
y'all let
like
me
seeing
know. Cause I did put a
my handsome
background,
face?
and
I
I
like
do
the
have this
background. I think
beautiful.
that's valid.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave
I
it
think
like
that's
that.
valid. I think, yeah, let's keep it. Well, actually, because zooming in on me a little bit, I don't have as cool a setup as you. My only setup is like right there, and then the rest is just a
Oh,
door.
it's all or
So
nothing, but baby boy. So you gotta start putting shit in the background, but beyond Minotone. Figure it out. You're a content
I got
creator.
some
Get
shit
it
on here.
together. Yeah,
This is
some
nice though. This
it's
ain't
cool.
nothing. You feel me? This ain't nothing. And I got my
A little
little. You feel me?
symbol. Yeah, throw a little.
Let me just.
Yeah, put the book up. Yeah, just hold it. Yeah, hold it like a rack.
You feel
Just
me?
like to the
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm a
Exactly.
money phone. This
Exactly.
shit. Hold on.
Yeah. Exact.
Uh, but what was the next? What was the
That
next
it was about
topic?
Eve's development. We were so into her dirty macking that we stopped talking about her actual development because as a
I'm
character,
gonna
Eve
keep it at me.
was frizz. She was nerfed. She was like kind of pushed to the side. There was so much about her that was kind of like glossed over or was put out, and like we learned how much power she has, and
Can I tell you
it
the
never
one
really
change
means
that I didn't
anything.
like?
Okay.
I can I tell you the one change that I didn't like from her character, and this is what kind of frustrated me because I was like so excited to see how they were going to adapt it, and they never did. Eve going to Africa and realizing that she could use her power for actual, like she is not like like
She
her
did go to
powers are
Africa.
good for. Did she? I didn't see that.
She went to Africa
When did she go?
in season 1. She went for a hot second. She was gone.
Mm, are you sure?
Well, continue what you're saying.
Well, my whole thing is Eve realizing that, like, because her powers work well in combat, but they work so much better in so many other ways. Like, she could be out here helping people in ways that, like, are much more beneficial to the world than just like how well she fights. Because let's keep it a bean. Until she unlocks her like super omnipotent powers, like when she's fighting bigger and bigger baddies, she's not that nice. But what she does have is the ability to change the world in a way that no other character's superpowers, no other character's power set can. And I really was hoping that they would take that even further than they did in the comics and fully explore that and perhaps even like make that be her sort of calling in life, because I feel like they touched on it in the comics and then they just left it alone and never touched on it again. But Eve has the potential more than anyone else to change the world for the better. Yeah. Oh, she was
She
building
was at
trees. A river.
I don't know if she was in Africa this time. I felt like she was in a rainforest, but she did. She put out a
Okay, she went
forest
somewhere.
fire. Yeah, there was a time that she decided to be altruistic and she left. Remember, she left home. She had an argument. That's why
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
that's
she was
why
doing
her
shit.
return to her house, and honestly, which is a perfect
Mm,
segue back to this, why she feels so insecure is because like she decided to do that. She decided to be altruistic, and she was like, what did I do? What did I achieve? And how did that help? And I love that for her. I love her like trying to figure out like I have all this power. What's the best way to use it? Because to your point, it's not really she's not brutal enough to use it offensively, right? Like she doesn't have the mind of a Viltrumite, or even like there's an episode. I'm always
right.
gonna bring it back to DC where Lex Luthor is episode of Justice League where Lex Luthor switches bodies with the Flash, and he does things
I
that
love
the
that episode.
Flash doesn't even consider doing. He's grabbing people and just putting his fingers to their temple like that. And he's like, I'll scramble their brains right now. And I'm like, that's something that the Flash is not even considering because his mind doesn't go there. And he's a genius. And like, it's not
You're
that
right.
he's not smart enough. Like Barry Allen is very intelligent, and the Speed Force makes him intelligent. And she is a genius as well, but they're not
Yeah.
thinking that, right? So she's not thinking about how can I change you, or she can't, but how can I change this molecular structure to kill you, to trap you? How can I
Yeah.
change this to try? And she's not thinking that, so she's never going to be offensively that helpful. Um,
Right.
and I think that's crazy. Try three. We are not doing any spoilers from the comics. I know you want to. Maybe one day we will. At the finale, we'll do a long review, or I'll do two reviews where I'll do
Yeah.
some. with the comic spoilers and then some after so we can have like a full discussion. But today we're not. But either way, that all being said, that brings us to Rex, who has, I don't know if it's the actor. I always want to call him Dennis Feinstein because that's who he plays on Parks and
Oh
Rec.
yeah.
But I don't know if
God.
it's the actor or and just how great his voice acting was or the script. But I was feeling him where he was like, "Bitch, of all of us, you killed the least amount of people. You actually helped more people. Like, so
In
what?
fact,
You hurt some people who no one died. Like, get over yourself. Like, this is part of the job." And I thought it was great.
nah, facts. I love. It's funny because I was somebody that never cared for Rex in the comic books, and even like seeing the shit that happened to him, I was like, I don't even care. And then seeing the TV series, they made him even worse. They made him even more of his dickhead. I was like, yeah, I don't even. But this episode single handedly made me be like, all right, yeah, I'm vibing with it. Yeah, because that little motivation speech he gave was so wise, but so in character at the same time. Like it was the perfect Rex speech that I couldn't help but be like, damn. So like apart from just being like just a dickhead, like a an asshole, he's actually like deep down a good person and knows how this superhero shit really works. Like at the end of the day, he proves himself in that conversation as a person that understands the way the world works as a superhero and understands what this job is like, and really proven that he does it genuinely to help people, even if he be acting like an asshole sometimes. So I definitely love that conversation. I thought that was dope.
Agreed. You said something that really makes sense that which is the reason why I loved it is it didn't feel like someone else giving a speech or him regurgitating words that he heard from someone else. He was legitimately like, he was like, "Yeah, people be getting hurt.
Shit
Get
happens,
over
gang.
it. Like lock in. What is it, Cameron? You tough, right?" Like he was like, "You're
Yeah, it's
fine."
really the whole combo.
He's like, "You'll be
You gonna be
alright,
alright.
like, we gotta move on. You're gonna be alright," and I really love that, and then it almost primed me for every decision that he had after, right? He was the one who had really the good idea to be like, "Listen, let's split up, some of us be here. I got Eve. Eve is gonna be so helpful, and y'all go, y'all handle that. We'll take it here." And then him also recognizing like, "Yo, we work too much. We need a second like, what's the
Yeah,
chances?" And this is something that they don't explain um in the TV show, but the threats that we're seeing is because they're only going to show us when the threat happens, right? That's only going to be the interesting time. But for the most part, people are not experiencing these threats. These people are not working as often as we think they are. So for him to say
yeah,
something like two world level threats in the same day is unheard of was true in the Invincible world, like to the point where people don't
yeah,
even consider, like if you in Gotham, you're like, damn, I hope my car don't get blown up today. But like if you're in the Invincible world, you're not considering that. If it happens, it's a tragedy, it's a shock. Um,
yeah.
and so I really like that they kind of highlighted that and brought it back.
I'm not gonna lie. I hear you, but you say that, and then I think about like all the crazy stuff that's happened in the first season and this season, and like you see, episode one, White House gets attacked, Mount Rushmore gets attacked, and then a couple episodes later, what else happens? The
But
Flaxons
that's in the
invade
show.
like downtown Chicago like 5 times. Oh, that is in the show. In the comic books, I guess. Oh yeah, that's right. Most of that stuff didn't happen in the comics. So in the show, it Loki is worse. I ain't gonna lie. In the show,
It's
they
worse than the
they
show.
they
But there's actually
yeah.
a blurb where like they're talking about it and they're like the people of this world don't see this stuff. I think I don't want to spoil the thing. Robot kind of says it at one point like they're not used to like
Yeah,
saying it.
this how things get down.
That being
Yeah,
said, like the callback from season 1 of these of that lizard team and them putting in the work was crazy. Was
that scene was tough.
crazy.
I gotta hear
Yeah.
your thoughts on that scene. I want to know what you think first.
All right. So I knew this scene was coming. I knew this scene was coming. And like I said, when it came initially, I didn't like any of these characters. In the comic books, I didn't care for any of them. But then they write this fire ass scene with Rex where I'm like, oh, I love Rex now. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm like, this scene is about to happen. And like, not just Rex, but even like Duplicate, she's not just some like, bimbo that's dating around. Like, we're
Yeah.
starting to feel it. And we get a moment with all of them where I'm like, yo, they are just trying to work, and they all are putting themselves in danger because they could very well be any other human, but they're deciding to do this work. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was not expecting your boy to eat the shrinking girl and walk away from it. I don't remember her dying that way. I remember her like
I think
him
he just straight up chewed on her,
he chewed her,
and
I
then
think. But like to have her
yeah,
fight back and to grow, I was like, oh,
that's
curtains. And I'm
worse.
like, yeah, that's
That's
worse,
worse.
right? And realizing that
Yeah.
she's not strong enough to penetrate his skin and suffocate it,
Yeah.
like it
Oh.
was all brutal, but definitely the duplicate scene. I will say in the comic books and in the show, one critique I've had of the show is that a lot of these scenes that are very brutal don't seem as brutal, particularly when they were in the Flaxen and the fight with the Viltrumites and Mark and Nolan last season.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was brutal. There's like a huge
That's
splash
wonderful.
page that covers it, and it's
Yeah.
terrifying. And with this, I
Yeah.
really didn't feel it. This time when
Yeah.
Duplicate was fighting for her life, I was anxious. I was like, yo, get another one, get another one, get another
Yeah.
one. And like, I
Yeah.
forget
That
that
shit
she
was
has
nuts.
no other powers other than duplicating herself. Like, she doesn't have super strength. She just got hands and like
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
and she's ready to die too, right? Which is like scary. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't they
That's
share a
weird.
consciousness. And so she's feeling a piece of her die every time.
Every time, and she's died like hundreds of times. And to your point about the fact that you brought up the battle before with Mark and Nolan on that bug planet, I agree. The comic book was way more gruesome, way more gruesome. But here they managed to make this and it was really the shrinking girl's death that like was the top of it for me. That's probably one of the worst. My whole body was cringing as I seen it because I'm thinking, oh, maybe she's not gonna die after all. He talking about, oh, she does get bigger, idiot, and then you see her expand in his body. I'm thinking it's cooked, and then he crushes her, gang.
Yo, it's the hope,
That's
right? It's the hope
it's
that
the
you
hope.
feel. You're like, they're out. Oh, she's out of this. And then you're like, oh,
Damn,
she's not.
cooked her. It was nasty in a way that like you're twisted if you think of this. Like you thought of this on some like you're nasty if you thought of this. But to that point of like the fights being a little bit more interesting in the comic books, I have had one type of critique for this show is that like it doesn't maintain the same level of vibrance or even like detail that the comic books had, which made the
Mhm.
fight scenes in the comic books so visceral to me. I went back and reread some of those fight scenes and the detail of the drawings mixed with the vibrance of the colors. Like looking at this image, this is incredibly desaturated. The orange is not that orange, the green is not that green. Like a lot of Invincible feels much more desaturated
Some of that
than
is
the
just a
actual comics.
medium, right? Like, that's a critique that people have been saying about, like, anime for years, right? Like, you get a
That's
manga
crazy.
which doesn't even have color, and you get these detail I didn't realize until I started reading manga, like, how detailed these panels are, and then you
It
see it
would be hell
on
time.
screen, and you're like, "This got 4 lines." Like, what's going
Damn.
on here? And so I agree,
Yeah.
like, some of it is lost in the medium, but you're right, like, this color could be way more vibrant. Like, My Adventures of Superman has vibrant, bright colors.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of something that's like, but they have no, that's a Scavenger's Range, even though that's like a pastel palette, it's still
Yeah.
very, very and Rick and Morty has a bright color
Yeah.
palette and like a lot of detail.
Yeah.
And they do things in a year. Rick and Morty comes out every year, no fail. Like, they don't
What's up
play.
with that? We got to talk
Be-
about. Do you know why that like they first of all took 2 years for season two and then broke it off into like half a
For
season
this,
each?
I don't know for this. I know for Rick and Morty, it's easy because Rick and Morty got renewed for like 5 seasons. And so
Mm,
it's easy to continue your work and not continue your work. And I think some of what's going on with Invincible is the issue that we're having with streaming models as a whole is that when we used to do network television, the next season was renewed before the
Oh yeah.
season that we're watching was even done,
Mm,
right? Like Abbott
yeah.
Elementary right now is filming their next season.
Yeah.
So the
Right.
hiatus is now 3 months instead of 3 years. And so
Right.
they're doing these ambitious projects. I don't think Invincible is that ambitious. Once again, let me show y'all what we're working with. I don't think this is
Not
ambitious. I'm not gonna hold you. I think the writing is ambitious. I think the stuff that they're doing with the writing is very well done and very well thought out. But I think
in the
animation
cast.
wise
The
is
cast is
not.
really stacked too.
They're actors though. I think hot take, and maybe because
I
I
mean,
know voice actors, I think a group of voice actors could have killed this maybe even a little better.
probably.
So
I'm
for
much more
some,
inclined
right?
to agree with that.
So
Yeah,
for
at
some,
least for
like
most of them.
what's his name? Sterling K. Brown gave me gave me an angle of Langstrong. I could never say his. How do you say his name?
Ang-
Levy, Angstrong, Levy,
Angstrom Levy.
whatever. Yeah, Angstrong Levy. I never saw him as like charming and someone who
Right.
could. And I was listening to his buttery ass voice. I was like, okay, this is a
Nah, this
different
nigga was supposed to be pathetic.
perspectives. I thought he was pathetic,
Yeah.
but that man was not pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah. He
He was
was
like, "What's
cool. He
that?"
was cool as
He was
fuck.
like, "You trying to join
Nobody's
me or what,
touching J.K.
twin?"
Simmons though.
J.K.
Nobody
Simmons,
touching
I
J.K.
think
Simmons though. Name a better person for Nolan. Like just I don't
Chris
think there
Abbott.
exists one. No.
We
No. I mean,
both just said, I was like, "Who's gonna break? Who's gonna break? Who's gonna
not Chris
break?"
Abbot. He's
I think
valid.
Chris
I'll tell you,
Evans.
he's
I think
super
he's up
valid, but
there. I would have to go through a
nah.
list of like voice actors and see maybe somebody from the Wars. You know, I'd have to really look and see, but some of it too is Chris Sabat from anime, in which the acting is
Yeah.
totally different. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think he
Right.
has a strong enough voice. To me, I was like J.K. Simmons is just being J.K. Simmons until he did the think. That was when I
Yeah.
was like, all
He was
right,
putting his heart
he
into it.
got it. He got it. He got
Clancy
it.
Brown could have done it. Clancy Brown could have done it well too, I think. Even though he
You know what
played
I'm
other
saying?
roles in the show.
Keith
Clancy
David.
Brown. Keith. Ye- no, no, Keith David sounds too much like Keith David. I'm sorry. He sounds way too
J.K.
much like
Simmons
Keith David.
sounds too much like J.K. Simmons. Say what you mean. He sounds black.
Yeah, it sounds that's what I'm
Say
trying to
what
tell
you
you.
mean. Say what you mean.
Okay.
Say it with your chest. Because you can't say he
Keith
sound like
David
Keith
sounds too
David.
black.
J.K. Simmons sound like J.K. Simmons. Uh,
But J.K. Simmons sound like yeah,
so,
but yeah, okay.
so
I'm
what's
gonna be racist. Yeah, he sounds too black. He's too urban. He's too
He's
urban
too
for me.
urban. He's too urban. Someone just said, I saw your short video about Wolverine being an asshole and admitting his son to you. And then he comes in to me saying, say what you mean. Welcome, welcome. This is us all day. This is us all day. But yeah, that fight scene was definitely brutal. Um
It was
it
nasty.
it
Like
it made me feel away, and it made me really root like this desperation. Like, look at his face. Yeah, let me come in here. Like, look at my man's face here, where he's like, dang, I
he
did
handled it
all
like
that
a
work.
real.
He blew his face up. He
He
blew his
took it like
face
a
up
G
for
though.
his hand up. Because what do you do
Yeah,
after that, right? What do you do after
yeah.
that?
It's not.
After you do everything you can, like you take
Bro
the
took the
L.
L. Yeah,
You
he
take
he
the
he was
L's.
ready. He's ready to eat that bullet though. Like he's ready to swallow. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, I really can't say anything, but I can't possibly imagine if like for by some miracle he makes it out. I can't even possibly imagine how he would. Like I don't even know
I
how
mean,
how anybody gets out
they're
of
in a
there.
place. Yeah, I hate that we had to wait so long and did that for an episode to end like that. I agree. I
I
will
agree.
say that they're in a place with enough fail safes. They're in Cecil's place. So I still think I'm trying to hold on hope and say like he can still survive this because there has to be
Mhm.
a gun. We're Donald right now. Tell him to pull up.
Yeah.
Also, I can't. I'm hoping that we didn't get to touch on this with Donald, but I'm hoping that him realizing that he's a cyborg will help him reach his potential and be like, well, then I'm gonna be in the field. I'm gonna be doing this. I don't gotta just use guns because now I'm invulnerable.
I like
When
that.
is the next
I
episode?
think
I
that's
think
really cool.
Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
I think it's Wednesday. I think it's
How many
Wednesday.
episodes until the season's over?
3 more.
Really?
Yeah, it's 8
They just wait
total.
4 months for 4 episodes. That see, don't piss me off. Well, I don't piss me off. That sounds so
Wh-
stupid.
Why you tight at me? Like, like I'm the one who slated Invincible.
Ain't you
Talk
got
about
friends
no
over there? You got friends everywhere.
bitches.
Tell
I don't
them,
got
tell them to
friends with
lock the hell in.
Invincible.
Oh my god, boy!
I
Four
done
months
got
for
friends with
4 episodes.
Invincible. Yeah, yeah. But we almost forgot. I was gonna go to the after credit scenes, but we got to talk about
Oh yeah,
them being fighting the Martians. First of all, I thought it was very interesting and a great introduction into the personality of Bulletproof, who immediately goes to squash one of those things without even considering vetting or learning about the species. His first move is gross, kill.
oh, okay. So would you say he's quick to violence?
We're like, who's gonna spoil?
I'm not saying a damn word. I'm just asking. Would you say, he's a guy that doesn't think before he acts? You know what I mean?
He's a guy who doesn't think before he acts, is something that I saw. Someone said Donald was already in the field. That's how he died. No, Donald was doing reconnaissance in a safe house, and that's how he
That's
died.
true.
I'm talking about in the gym.
Like
I'm talking
real
about
shooter.
now he could be out there on the field, like shooting with Rex and
Yeah.
them
Like when the
because
emergencies
he's a
happen.
cyborg. Yeah, exactly. Because he's basically robot, not with that mind, but he can get
Yeah.
robot to add things to him. He can get all those things. Um, but yeah, back to this. Yes, I think that was incredible foreshadowing about Bulletproof because they've been making sure that they highlight that we should know
Yeah.
who Bulletproof is and not just because he's black,
Right.
because Black Samson is black. Like
Right.
there's something about Bulletproof we should know. And that was the first thing that I noticed, that he's quick to move. And once
Yeah.
again, I really liked after the prep talk that Eve showed her words. She did a lot, right? And like even during
Mhm.
this scene where she's cleaning up what's his name's mess, she's
Mhm.
like trying her best and nobody's like get it together. They're all encouraging her because they understand that this is a really hard task, and a
Yeah.
lot of pressure on her, and she's trying her best. And at one point was I like, God damn it, Eve. You know what I mean? And that's something that I really
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I think it really indicates just the fact that this is a good team. Like all bullshit aside, Cecil knows how to make teams, and I think this is a really good indication that like when he got this little hodgepodge band of misfits together, and sort of like clued them in on the stakes for this mission. Like every single one of them was locked into each other and like to the mission. So in a way that like, what I'm saying, they all watching each other's backs, nobody arguing about none. Like as soon as the mission started, it was go
They
time.
locked it.
Everybody was on their job. They was locked the hell in. So they said, "Hey Eve, give us as much time as you can." They ain't even mad at her when her shit broke because now, no, they knew damn well nobody. If it weren't for Eve, they would have all been dead at the exact moment when those rockets hit them in the first place. So she was the one that
Facts.
saved it. So she looked even MVP. She was MVP
Oh,
this whole mission
exactly.
last
And then the other time, Eve is the first to go. Eve is the first to go.
year.
Um, Now that we're saying that, I say let's give 10 minutes because I do want to talk about something that was brought up in the chat. So this is for those of you who have not seen Invincible. We're gonna do our final thoughts, and then I'm gonna get into this subject. I really do want to get into some comic book spoilers because this is a subject that I'm very interested in. That will probably happen this season. But final thoughts on this mid-season premiere. What did you think and what would you rate it? 1 through 5, Frankie Flames.
1 through 5, thank you, Flames. Okay, so she's asking me to trademark it. Man, this season
Or
premiere
do
was
whatever your juices, destructo juices, orange juices.
Destructo
Said your
Juices is freaky as hell. Don't ever say that shit to me again. What the fuck was that? Bro, don't Destructo
you
Juices.
need to get on your branding. You don't got no.
Oh, okay. Destructo, Jugo Jams, Jugo. I'll figure it out. We'll just Frankie
We'll
flame it.
figure that
We'll
out.
Frankie flame
Frankie
it right.
Flame it. Yeah.
I would say, as far as like being a mid-season, or yeah, mid-season premiere or whatever the case may be, this episode is probably one of the best episodes of. And season two was really good. Season two was really good so far, but this is one of the best episodes of season two. They had us, and I saw somebody make a TikTok about this. They had us wait 4 months. We were all mad. The show kind of fell off. Then they was like, I bet, brought back with some heat that immediately got every single one of us back on board. Now most of us forgot that they made us wait this long in the first place. So as far as like starting off with a bang, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Four and a half. You feel me? It
Four and a
definitely,
half.
it, yeah, yeah. What about you?
Yo, I
Four and
give
a
it a
half.
four and a
Frankie
half too.
Flames.
Four and a half, Frank, for the writing alone. The writing alone, for them to get me to like Rex, for them to hold Nolan accountable, for Eve to reach her potential, for the foreshadowing with Bulletproof, everything. Four and a half out of Frank. For us to see Amber having to reap what she sowed, like every scene was so necessary. I do want to highlight that we
Yeah.
have an animator in here, and they said we should be angry with them. As someone who does animation, they are procrastinating big time. Art Monkey Animation actually did my animation at the beginning of my fighting word show. He's very good.
Oh
And
wow,
he
wonderful.
got me those. It was like it's like 20 seconds and like a
Mm,
week dolo.
really?
Yeah.
Shit. Well, Art
Yeah.
Monkey Animation, your intro was beautiful. Very big fan. Fantastic work.
Yeah. All right. Now, oh, I meant to do this one. Now, so I gave it four and a half. We're gonna do this. For those of you who do not want to be spoiled in any of the comics, we are going to talk about one specific subject that you've probably heard about surrounding a character named Anissa. And
Mm,
it's something that Mr. Speak on it brought on. It is a huge spoiler. So if you don't want to be spoiled in the comics, if you haven't heard the name Anissa, I recommend you dip. And I don't want y'all to go. 19 of us. That's fire. But I could also recognize that at 15 of y'all on YouTube, let's fucking go. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand that you don't want to be spoiled. And if so, I want to say thank you guys for joining. And you guys have 5 seconds before I bring up Anissa and who she is because I made a video about it. I got a lot of heat about it, but I definitely think it's something
oh
that we
yeah,
should
yeah.
discuss. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So this is your last chance to leave the live. If you don't know who Anissa is and don't want to be spoiled, have a fantastic week, my friends. Okay, now that the babies are gone, which is nobody, all 19 are still here. Let's talk
Yep.
about Anissa and how Prime is going to handle this situation. A couple months ago, when we were talking about when the mid-season finale hit, I personally said I didn't want the Anissa storyline to go through
Mm,
because it was done so poorly in the comic books, and the conversation around it was even worse. And I know it's supposed to be like some men are like, we need this representation of sexual assault for us, which is peculiar. As a woman, I have a bunch of representation of sexual assault. And let me tell you, it is not fire. Like, it's not fun. Um,
yeah.
but the conversation around it is so terrible. And it's so gross. And and even the way that it happened was also done very well.
Mm,
Like the response from Nolan, all of that stuff was done so terribly that I just didn't want to go through that again. And
right.
then also
Right.
have the musties online because I'm seeing how people react to things. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
This
Right.
episode made me feel better about it.
Mm.
It made me
In
feel
what
I
way?
was like they're handling everything with such care. The conversation is
Yeah.
gonna be musty. It's gonna be musty. But at least at this point, I feel like I'll have support. I'll be like, y'all are musty. This happened.
Right.
Like I feel like I'm gonna be supported with the text in a
Right.
way that we can have an actual discussion and I'm still gonna
Right.
be torn to shreds. Once I say whatever I'm gonna say about it, men are gonna be so triggered at the fact that I had the nerve to talk about male sexual assault. But
Right.
that being said, I'm gonna have actual, text to like bring that up and be
Actual,
like, yo,
yeah,
this is not him being blasé about it. His dad is not saying that's how
right,
shit is. Like, it's not like that.
right,
It's gonna
right.
be different. So, and she's not. I'm praying she don't get a redemption arc. That shit was stupid. I'm
Yeah.
okay without Marky. Honestly, truly,
And not Marky, not poor little
he could
Marky.
eat a
That's my
dick.
boy.
He could drink a
What?
destructive jugo. He could drink a jugo. He could drink a jugo.
Not that
Mhm.
being an insult. Like the disrespect. I want to say that I actually want to. I'm glad you brought it up because when you made that video, I wanted to make a response video to it, in slight disagreement and respectful disagreement for the sake of argument, because my experience, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience reading that comic book and getting up to that point. Because when I had read that, like I said, I grew up on this comic, and I don't know, I genuinely don't remember how old I was by the time that issue had come out. And by the time I had read it, I may have been like 12, 13, 14, something right in that neighborhood. But thankfully, I wasn't part of any online communities. Every piece of media that I've ever consumed from the ages of like fucking 10 years old all the way to like 16, 17, 18 was completely in a vacuum. I was never part of any online communities that talked about it. So I just got to consume media myself and make sort of form opinions myself, and the people around me that watched that same media was the only community I had, which I'm so grateful for because I was never part of the musty ass conversations that were going around about everything that was out. But when I first read it, I was genuinely intrigued because even though, like you said, I fully agree, it handled it whack. It handled it terribly. It was still the first instance of male sexual assault that I had seen in a piece of media that didn't play it for jokes. And that's something that um happens a lot. And so I was very interested in seeing how like Mark responded to it, seeing that like there was an idea of like shame attached to how he felt about it, and just seeing how that developed was pretty bad, but it was something. It was more than like what I had gotten from other movies and TV shows where they're like, oh well, did you like it, or like, oh, you were supposed to like it, because what I'm saying, Anissa is like conventionally attractive. So I was interested to see how they would portray it, most specifically because they have a golden opportunity here to, in the year of our Lord 2024, to portray this as seriously as it was supposed to be. And hopefully there will be more kids like me who are watching the show, or more people like me, or more young men like me who are watching the show, that are that this is going to be their first instance of seeing male sexual assault taken seriously on screen. And like you said, they've been doing all this other stuff so well that I'm like, okay, they got a golden opportunity here. The conversation is going to be musty, it's going to be nasty, it's going to be a hell of people, but I feel like it's going to be way less people than it was before. And I feel like the people that are going to be like, oh, did he like it, or oh, he was supposed to like it, or oh, and needs to this, will like be the fringe, and like will be genuinely like treated as weirdos by most of the community. I feel like we're at a space now where a lot of us, even the weird ones, could still recognize sexual assault for sexual assault. You know what I mean? Like, you were a little
No.
cynical about it. I'm not gonna lie. You were wild
Because
cynical about
I
it, but I
because I'm still seeing the internet for what it is, right? I get the rawest form of the internet every day, and that is not getting. There are people arguing me to this day, before this live, I'm still blocking people for getting upset that I said the people of Iraq is are Arab. You get what I'm saying? Are Muslim. So like
yeah.
that's what we're working with. The thousands and thousands of people are mad at me for saying Iraq is are men of people. And so I don't know if they can, but I will say when Wonder Woman 1984, everybody knew what consent was all of a sudden. So we'll see. Uh, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I definitely think that it can be done better. I definitely think the conversation is going to be interesting, and I'm very interested in how they do it. I think what I didn't
Mm,
like was, especially his conversation with Eve. It was like he was like, "I'm less than a man,"
mm,
and she was like, "I'll still hit," and he was basically like,
mm,
"I'm healed."
mm,
And then she
mm.
comes back, and I think it was also that redemption story that I didn't like, where she had a happy family and we felt bad about her death. I'm like,
Yeah.
we do not need to redeem all these murderers and rapists. Like, It was getting me tight
Yeah.
that every murderer and rapist, if they didn't want to like fight Thrag,
Yeah.
was like becoming like this good person that we were supposed to love. And I did not like that. I was like, Anissa can stay ain't shit.
Mhm.
Why they get and
Mhm.
I was like, and he think he's slick giving her a black man so I could like her more. So she could see more tolerant. He's not low. Robert, you're not Robert can't see this. I be talking someone was like, Frankie, you be calling him Robert in your videos like you know him personally, and I don't.
She
And I
do. That's her
don't.
man.
I met him once at a premiere, at his premiere, at the Invincible premiere. Like I shook his hand. He wouldn't pull me out of his stream. But because I touched him, he's Robert now.
That's your man's.
It's
Yeah,
my
you can
man's.
tell him how it is.
Um,
That's
and
that's your
I do
brother.
want to address this. And I did not want to this become a comic book space, but here we are. Not too
No,
much
leave
on Marky. He was better than his sister, the spoiled princess. His sister had to
leave Tara
also
alone.
5 years. What was she, 4 that he was missing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was gone for a
Oh,
minute.
he was gone from. Also, I am not ready for the conversation where people call Eve a hoe for moving on from Mark after him being gone for
Oh
4.
yeah.
I remember people was
Oh
coming out their
yeah.
face, mad at Eve for moving on. I was like, she thought he
Mm.
died. To her, he
Yeah, she
died.
thought he died. Yeah, he was gone for him. Oh man, you are unlocking memories because I haven't reread the whole series in a while.
Dang,
Why
I'm
he
spoiled.
left? Why he was gone for a while? It just hit me, and I'm like, damn, bro, these show
And it
people
was
don't even know what they're in for.
exactly. And honestly, when he was gone, to me, that was one of the best time warps I've ever seen because it was only like 3 pages. Right?
Yeah,
So he jumps into like a hole or something. 3 pages
yeah.
of like the past. He gets to redo it. He's like, damn, I fucked up again. He comes out and 4 years pass. So like him, we're disoriented and we're trying to
Mhm.
recalibrate to this new normal. And I'm like, damn, this is
Mm.
crazy.
Yeah, this shit was wild.
She not in the magical society of supported wives and girlfriend. This is a joke you did
That's a good
not
one.
get. Um,
That's a good one.
this is a joke you didn't get, Ate, because you haven't seen America's
I
Society of
know what a
Magical
magical
Negroes.
Negro troop. I know what a magical
No,
Negro trope is.
no, no, but this joke specifically is from the movie.
Okay.
Relax.
Oh,
I know.
okay.
That see, relax.
Okay.
I wasn't mansplaining. I was like, I hope he let me finish this sentence. And so I could explain
That
that
was disrespectful. Cause what you
this is an
mean?
inside
I
joke. There's no way I'm having someone on my show who doesn't know what the magical Negro trope is unless they're like a special guest.
yeah, cause I was about to say, I really hope you weren't insulting my intelligence in
I
the sense
wasn't.
that
I
niggas
wasn't. I
don't know
wasn't.
what the magic is.
No, 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 no,
I
no.
felt I like Tara. I like Marky. The Nissa thing, like back to that. Like I said, it's not much. It's not necessarily that I hate the idea of her getting a redemption arc. It's just that it was done so poorly in the comic book. Just like, oh, I'm better now. Sorry, Mark. Like, you feel me? Like, damn, that shit was garbage. They could really, I think, you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna do exactly what they did for Donald. Donald couldn't even be considered a character in the comic books. Like, he was just
Agree.
like, you knew his name and that was it. You know, and same thing with Anissa in the comic books. So they're gonna give Anissa, I know for a fact, if they do choose to sort of portray this sexual assault, they're gonna give Anissa a whole subplot. They're probably gonna give her an episode where like they're probably gonna give her a montage as she grows and figures out, and they're gonna give her something. Thank you guys. Y'all are killing the conversation. Thank you. But they're gonna give her something to where we're gonna be able to see that redemption arc play out both internally and externally, to where like at the very least we can understand how she got from, because we didn't see how she got from being a rapist to being a good mom. And so they're going to fill in that blanks for us, and maybe that'll change your mind on how you feel about Anissa and how you feel about you feel me.
Listen, at this point, as I said, I'm open to it. And I think that's a big step. That's a big step to be
Yeah,
open to it. It's a big step. So
yeah, these niggas need to
either
hear
way,
it. These niggas need to
y'all
hear
been
it.
incredible. I don't want to get too much into the comics until the episode. I think that was enough to we'll get into we'll do more comic spoiler space at the end of the reviews. How about that for y'all? But I did want to thank you, Destructo Hugo, for joining us. Please let everyone know where they can find you on social.
Um, you can find me at the corner of 41st and Vernon selling rock, and just ask for Rico, and that's my street name. I'm gonna
Copy.
come out with that bag. Yeah, but if you want to find me on social media, though, you can find me at Destructo Jugo at all my socials. Destructo Jugo Instagram, YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube, please.
We
They might
trying.
ban TikTok, so
We're
you're gonna
trying to
be if
get
you
on
want to hop
TikTok,
on it.
y'all. We
Oh God,
trying,
we're all trying to
y'all.
get off TikTok. So find the YouTube Destructo Jugo and TikTok. Follow me on TikTok. That's where I make most of my content. I'm trying to branch out, but that's where I do most of my work. If you've enjoyed this conversation, I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you to Fantastic Frankie for having me on. Hopefully I can, come back and discuss the next episodes or the finale or whatever the case may be. It was a great time.
Yo, agreed, agreed. I'm gonna try to do this. I'm pretty sure I just love
Say it. Say it.
Invincible. Okay. I love Invincible. And I'm gonna be here. You thought it was you. You thought it was you. I was gonna be like, I
I
love
thought you.
talking.
I thought you were gonna say I love talking. Yeah. Can you?
I'm not giving it up like that, y'all. I'm not giving it up. But you are an
Oh
incredible
damn!
guest. You are an incredible guest. I am
I'll take it.
excited. And I'll be here every week. If you guys want to learn more about my videos, about things like that, join my Discord. I am phasing out TikTok either way. I hate it there. I hate it there, yeah.
Don't let him hear you,
Like
bro.
right now, I'm
Like,
dropping some fire X-Men content. I've never had I've never had views so low. And I know it's because people are mass reporting me on TikTok because like the video I dropped today, not to toot my own horn. I did that recap video and I was like, this is a hilarious
yeah.
video. This is really good. And it barely
So,
broke 1,000. Absolutely not.
oh
Absolutely
yeah,
not. Absolutely not. They're not
yeah.
trying. They're really trying me. And I'm like, if I'm getting like 80,000 views on Instagram and 600 on TikTok, that's TikTok trying to play with my in my face. But that's me
Let
being
me
a hater,
see.
y'all.
Let
Um,
me. Oh, they got you in the dungeon. Well, it's
they
not
got
even
me
that
to do
bad. You're thousand, thousand, thousand. Yeah, that's kind of bad.
that's pretty bad. That's
So
pretty bad. That's at
yeah,
YouTube does suck with notifications. I agree, but you know what you got to do? Hit me with the push notifications, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's that little bell when you go to my page. Also, join my Discord, Fanboy Fighter. I have an announcement page, and it's linked to my YouTube. I think I'm learning Discord, but I'm actually doing pretty well. And I have all things. I have a comic book space. I have an anime space. We have an announcement. We're 47 people strong, which is huge because we just started.
already. Damn,
We
that's
started a
real.
couple of days ago, 2 days ago, 47 people strong. So let's make it 100 by the end of this week. Um, you can find me anywhere at Fantastic Frankie. Thank you so much, Destructo. Your insight was incredible. This was a lot of fun. And thank you guys all for joining us.
Thank you very much. Follow me on on TikTok and YouTube, and
And
you
also
know,
like, comment, and subscribe. Look at that. Like, comment,
yeah,
and
like,
subscribe.
comment, and
Uh,
subscribe. Man, it's
yes.
so pretty. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.